might as well step down too. Because I'm tired of that too. This is a disgrace that you have done.
Tiffany Henyard, the embattled mayor of Dalton, has been at the center of an intense investigation that has raised serious concerns about potential corruption within her administration. Allegations of financial mismanagement, abuse of power, and questionable decision-making have sparked scrutiny over her leadership. Critics have pointed to patterns of behavior suggesting a lack of fiduciary responsibility, accusing her of misusing taxpayer funds and improperly managing village affairs. As the investigation unfolds, subpoenas have been issued and evidence continues to emerge, leading many to question whether Henyard's decisions were motivated by personal or political interests to the detriment of the public welfare. Public sentiment has soured, with Dalton residents growing increasingly frustrated by the lack of transparency and accountability. Many are demanding clarity on the extent of the alleged wrongdoing, fearing that the village's leadership has betrayed their trust. As the investigation deepens, questions loom about the broader consequences for both Henyard and the community. The ongoing scandal has exposed the fragile nature of the relationship between elected officials and their constituents, raising doubts about the ability of the administration to regain public confidence amidst the mounting pressure. Tensions reached a boiling point during a controversial meeting that Henyard proceeded with. Despite a decision by village trustees to postpone it, the trustees had made the decision to change or cancel the meeting, but failed to provide the legally required 10-day notice. Critics argue that this move violated state law and undermined the democratic process, accusing the trustees of attempting to obstruct Henyard's ability to carry out her duties. This confrontation is just the latest in a series of clashes between the mayor and the board, further highlighting the growing divide between them. The conflict over the postponed meeting has sparked fresh debate about the balance of power within Dalton's local government. Henyard supporters argue that the trustees are engaging in political gamesmanship, intentionally impeding her leadership, while her critics contend that she is overstepping her authority in an attempt to circumvent the board's decisions. Either way, the clash underscores broader governance issues within the administration, including allegations of power struggles and violations of procedural normal as the battle between Henyard and the trustees intensifies. Public trust in both sides continues to erode. Dalton residents are increasingly concerned about the future of their local government and the stability of their community's leadership, with both the mayor and the board under fire. Many are left wondering how far Henyard is willing to push her position to counter what she sees as deliberate obstruction. At the same time, the trustees' actions are viewed by some as an attempt to wrest control from her administration. The situation in Dalton has become a case study in the fragility of local governance and the challenges of restoring public faith in leadership. With tensions escalating and the stakes higher than ever, the need for transparency, accountability, and a commitment to the rule of law is more urgent than ever. As investigations continue and the battle for control of the administration rages on, Dalton's residents remain eager for answers and hope that justice will prevail in restoring order to their community's governance.
I didn't want to file a lawsuit against the village, but it didn't sit right not to do anything, and I wanted my story.
Tiffany Henyard, the embattled mayor of Dalton, finds herself at the center of an escalating scandal involving serious allegations of financial mismanagement and abuse of power. As investigations into her administration continue to unfold, the central question remains: how much taxpayer money has been mishandled? Reports have revealed a troubling pattern of careless financial practices, fueling growing concerns among Dalton residents. These allegations include extravagant spending, exorbitant security costs, and untracked credit card transactions, all of which have left the public deeply alarmed. Especially considering the town's already significant debt burden, many residents worry that their hard-earned money has been misused for personal or political gain. And the investigation has only intensified scrutiny. With the village already facing financial instability, these reports have added a new layer of anxiety about Dalton's fiscal future. Despite intense monitoring of the town's finances and efforts to address the debt crisis, critical questions remain unanswered. Foremost among these is the total amount of taxpayer funds that may have been misappropriated. This uncertainty has fueled concerns that the financial mismanagement during Henyard's administration could represent systemic issues exacerbated by improper oversight and questionable decisions. The lack of clear information regarding how public funds have been allocated only serves to deepen residents' frustrations. The community, already burdened by financial challenges, is left wondering how much of their tax dollars have been wasted and whether those responsible will be held accountable. The lack of transparency around Henyard's financial actions has undermined confidence in her leadership and divided the community. Critics argue that her administration has failed to prioritize the financial well-being of the town, allowing excessive spending to take precedence over fiscal responsibility. The reported expenditures, including lavish spending, unexplained credit card transactions, and high security costs, are viewed by many as wasteful and unnecessary. These actions have only heightened public scrutiny and deepened doubts about Henyard's ability to manage Dalton's finances effectively. At the same time, authorities are continuing their investigations, hoping to uncover the truth behind the allegations. Residents are eagerly awaiting clarity, hoping for assurances that future governance will be rooted in transparency, fiscal responsibility, and a genuine commitment to restoring public trust. The growing investigation has sparked broader concerns about the relationship between leadership and financial stewardship, and whether Dalton's government can return to a state of stability and integrity as the situation continues to evolve. The stakes are becoming higher for Henyard's administration. The outcome of the investigations will have significant political and legal consequences for both Henyard and the community. The pressure is mounting, with residents anxiously watching to see whether the ongoing scrutiny will lead to tangible consequences, including legal action or a potential shift in leadership. This scandal represents a pivotal moment for Dalton, and the town's future trajectory hinges on how the situation is handled. With each new development, questions about the extent of the mismanagement and the role of the village's leadership continue to dominate public discourse. The ultimate question is whether Henyard can weather the growing storm of criticism or if the mounting evidence will prove insurmountable, leading to a dramatic shift in Dalton's political landscape. The accusations against Henyard are not limited to just financial mismanagement. There are growing concerns about the broader impact of her actions on Dalton's governance. Allegations of improper financial oversight, careless spending, and questionable expenditures have already sparked outrage among residents, especially those already concerned about the village's fiscal health. Critics argue that the lack of transparency surrounding the handling of taxpayer funds, coupled with the rising tensions between the mayor and other officials, highlights a failure to prioritize the well-being of the community, further complicating matters. Henyard's defenders claim that the accusations are politically motivated, framing the investigations as an effort by her opponents to undermine her authority. They argue that there is insufficient evidence to support the claims of financial misconduct, suggesting that the allegations are part of a larger political strategy. However, this explanation has done little to alleviate public frustration. Many residents feel that their concerns are being dismissed, while others demand greater accountability and a commitment to corrective actions. The mounting uncertainty, compounded by the lack of clear answers, has created an environment where speculation thrives and public trust continues to erode as the investigation proceeds. The community's focus remains squarely on whether the allegations against Henyard will result in meaningful consequences. The possibility of legal action, a change in leadership, or other significant developments looms large, and residents are eager to see if the situation will lead to substantive reforms. Dalton is at a critical juncture, with the outcome of the scandal poised to have far-reaching implications for both the future of the village and the trust between elected officials and their constituents. Whether Henyard can weather the storm or if the growing evidence will be too much to overcome remains uncertain. What is clear, however, is that this unfolding scandal will continue to shape Dalton's governance for years to come. The outcome of the investigation is likely to influence not only the future of Henyard's administration, but also the community's broader understanding of transparency, accountability, and the importance of maintaining fiscal responsibility in public office. As the situation develops, the residents of Dalton remain on edge, hoping for clarity and reassurance that their leaders will be held accountable and that the future of their town will be guided by integrity and sound governance.
She had this wonderful platform, and she just destroyed everything and anything. She's affected a lot.
Tiffany Henyard, the self-styled super mayor of Dalton, has faced mounting controversy surrounding her leadership, with numerous allegations of financial mismanagement, unethical conduct, and abuse of power. What initially seemed like an effort to address the community's needs, securing funds for seniors, veterans, and developing new housing, has instead raised significant concerns about her governance. The unfolding investigation into Henyard's actions, particularly regarding the village's permitting and licensing practices, has only intensified the scrutiny. Among the numerous troubling claims against Henyard is the reckless use of taxpayer funds, with accusations that she misappropriated resources for personal and political gain. The FBI has requested financial documents, including travel expenses, payroll records, and reimbursement forms, as part of a broader investigation into her financial dealings. Specifically, Henyard has been accused of blocking certain business owners from obtaining necessary permits, denying licenses to those whose businesses did not align with her interests, and allegedly advising at least one business owner to contact her personal attorney when facing difficulties with the village's operations. These allegations have raised alarms about the mayor's abuse of power and questionable decision-making. Financial mismanagement is a significant component of the investigation. A $40,000 Amazon charge, among other unexplained expenses, has prompted authorities to delve deeper into the village's spending practices. Former Chicago Mayor Lori Lightfoot, in a move that has drawn further attention, specifically requested an inquiry into Henyard's 2023 vacation to Las Vegas, which she took with 2 village trustees. This trip has come under scrutiny as questions arise about the appropriateness of such expenditures given the ongoing financial strain on Dalton, including the town's substantial debt adding to the controversy. Henyard has faced allegations of spending over $1 million on personal protection services, with critics claiming that this expense significantly strained the village's finances. The high cost of security led to a shortage of officers for regular duties, forcing them to work overtime and run errands. This not only raised concerns about efficiency, but also about the financial burden placed on taxpayers. In fact, in 2023, one officer received a staggering $188,000 in overtime pay, and another earned $114,000 in 2024, an amount that far exceeded their base salaries and contributed to further doubts about Henyard's fiscal management. Meanwhile, the investigation has revealed even more troubling financial details. Heath Dubas, a senior administrator in Dalton, has also come under scrutiny for bankruptcy fraud. He failed to disclose significant revenue on his outdated tax returns, and an investigation revealed that he owed $442,000 to various vendors. This added another layer of complexity to the allegations of financial mismanagement within the village government. To make matters worse, Dalton faces potential legal action over unpaid debts. A local bank has threatened to seize village vehicles, including police cars, over unpaid balances. Additionally, a tree trimming company is owed $400,000 for work performed in 2023, and federal authorities have found discrepancies in payments for goods and services. One vendor submitted an invoice for a significant amount of merchandise just one day after Henyard's foundation was submitted to the state, raising further suspicions of misuse of funds, further complicating matters. Henyard is also facing criticism over a no-bid contract she awarded to a suburban construction company for $200,000. This company is connected to past corruption scandals, and its owner is currently facing sentencing for allegedly bribing a county assessor to reduce overdue taxes on family properties. Despite the growing concerns about financial misconduct, Henyard continued to push forward with a $1 million Facebook giveaway in February 2024, claiming it was for Black History Month. This decision was met with backlash, especially considering the ongoing financial struggles of the village. Amidst all these allegations, the situation took a darker turn with claims of intimidation and harassment. A former employee accused Henyard of retaliating against her after she spoke out about a sexual assault incident involving a trustee during a business trip to Las Vegas. According to the employee's account, after a dinner, she began to feel disoriented and confused, as though the room was shifting beneath her. The next morning, she found herself in a hotel room in Las Vegas, experiencing physical discomfort. Officer Byron Miles, a member of Henyard's security detail who was also on the trip, reportedly informed the woman that the trustee had bragged about engaging in unprotected sex with her. Both the woman and Officer Miles filed complaints regarding the incident, which included details about a meeting with Henyard. In the meeting, the woman reportedly told Henyard that she would never voluntarily have sex with the trustee. Officer Miles later claimed that the trustee had called him in the middle of the night to boast about the incident, implying that the woman might not have given her consent. Miles also reported that the trustee had shown him disturbing images of the woman, including photos of her undressed, which he took during the trip. This further raised suspicions of misconduct and abuse of power within the mayor's office. Despite the gravity of these allegations, Henyard reportedly dismissed the claims, reassuring the former employee that she would handle the situation. However, the employee claimed that Henyard told her not to go public with the incident, as it would ruin her life. Just days later, the former employee was placed on unpaid medical leave, despite insisting she did not request it, and was subsequently fired. This sparked further outrage, especially given the seriousness of the allegations and the apparent lack of action to address them. The situation became even more alarming when Officer Miles, who had been a witness to the alleged incident, was reportedly demoted to patrol duty as retaliation for coming forward. The officer's complaint indicated that he had been punished for his role in the investigation, which led many to believe that Henyard had attempted to suppress any evidence that could implicate her administration. This created an atmosphere of fear and mistrust within the village government, as employees and officials alike appeared to be under pressure to remain silent or face retribution. In addition to these personal and legal challenges, Henyard's leadership has been further tainted by reports of her intimidating political opponents. A former employee alleged that Henyard had used her influence to silence critics, including dispatching hitmen to target tenants of a political rival. These allegations paint a deeply disturbing picture of a leader willing to go to great lengths to maintain control and eliminate threats to her authority. Meanwhile, other accusations have surfaced regarding her relationships with law enforcement, with suggestions that she created partnerships with the police department to ensure her complaints were ignored and her interests were protected. As the investigations continue, the fallout from Henyard's actions has reached a boiling point. Public trust in her leadership has eroded significantly, with residents and former employees alike questioning her integrity, decision-making, and commitment to the well-being of the community. The complexity and gravity of the situation have left many in Dalton wondering if the mayor will be held accountable for her actions, or she will be able to weather the storm and retain her position of power despite Henyard's defenders framing the ongoing investigations as politically motivated attacks. The weight of the evidence against her continues to mount. As more documents are reviewed, more allegations surface, and more questions arise about the future of Dalton's leadership. Whether Henyard can navigate these legal and ethical challenges, or whether her actions will lead to significant political and legal consequences, remains uncertain. One thing is clear. The scandal has brought Dalton's governance into the spotlight, and the outcome will have far-reaching implications for the community's future as the investigation progresses and additional revelations come to light. The people of Dalton remain on edge, hoping for accountability and transparency. The stakes could not be higher, as this scandal threatens not only the career of Tiffany Henyard, but the very future of the village she was elected to lead. Whether or not Dalton will be able to recover from the damage caused by these allegations and restore faith in its leadership remains to be seen.